your relationships and other areas of your life. What you need to look out for. Again, I do look at everything in the readings that I do. It's just the readings have a therapy style to them. If you're new here, I just want you to know that. And it's because a lot of times we don't understand why things happen. And that's what keeps us ruminating. That's what keeps us detached from ourselves. So anything that can take us out of our true sense of self, which is when we're in the energy of love, right? When we're at most open to receiving, we're calm, we're at ease. Obviously, disease comes from not being at ease. But see, when we're at ease, we're able to go with the flow of life. And that's through the passion for life. And so understand everything in the environment is pulling for your energy, your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. And the reason why is because, hey, if they can utilize your resources for them, they get stronger and you get weaker. And then the perception is that. So we've come to a place within our evolution that we have to heal the effects of our trauma. And that's through integrating the spiritual lesson. That's the way that it's done. But we see we see the manifestations that come from not healing it. We want to know how to heal it. I mean, within the reading, we don't really need to be told what we already know. That's why I like to do these readings. So we're going to see drained chalice. And this is, look at this, nurturing from an empty cup. Like, I just pulled again, like random wounds. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about other people always see your worth. And you're someone that is resourceful. You're someone that is mindful. However, when you overgive, it's almost like you volunteer to take on the other person's karma. And that's really what this is saying. It's like you need to replenish yourself. You need to pour endlessly into yourself, not others. It's almost like other people made you feel responsible. Again, because they saw it, oh, look, you have your shit together and life is going good for you, and then they judge their life and then they make you feel that way. So it's and we're looking at the wounds that are at hand. And that doesn't mean that you're not healing them. It could be that's the karmic themes that are playing out or that are about to play out. And so Spirit says what you get from that is you get victim mindset. So again, I feel like other people have always come into your life and taken you off your path. And so what you have is not that you don't have any accomplishments, but it's almost like you'd have a lot more. And so there's a sense of showing up where you see yourself as like it was like you were powerless, and understand you were powerless because you let the wrong people in too fast, too soon, too much. But that's what, again, is playing out, which possibly means that you're in a separation from someone that's about to come back. Again, my intuition is saying that. Why? Again, where Spirit saying, look at this, a third eye chakra, and so that means a block. So if I am not physically in my body, meaning I'm grounded, I'm in the present moment, only in the now do I get divine guidance. And that's through, again, yes, seeing things, but it's also intuitive. Third eye can play out for many people. It's a combination of psychic gifts. It's not just clairsentient, it's clairsentience and claircognizance. It's clairsentience and the third eye, clairvoyance. So you get my drift. And so, but that becomes blocked if someone comes back into your life and you're utilizing all your resources. Before you know it, you're not on your track. You begin to get deterred because on an emotional level, that may be your barometer, where it's like, well, it's how I feel. And Spirit says it can't be. It can't be because it's, again, because then it's like your passion is connected to your identity, or it needs to be. Otherwise, like, how would you fully embody it? And so the next one is unclaimed soul, becoming everything but who you truly are. And that's and that's connected to survival. So the expectations of others, until your true self fades beneath it all. You've lived for others, played the roles, rarely asked what you needed. It can leave you haunted by life that looks full but feels hollow. And so spirit saying it's the same like karmic theme, as you can see, almost like you're not allowed an identity. You're not allowed like your spiritual sovereignty. Like your spiritual sovereignty is, you're not here by mistake, you're here by God's design. So you have spirit inside of you, so you can create the life and the life experiences that you want to have. But if other people have always utilized your energy and you got love and acceptance from giving, that is what needs to be reconditioned, because you don't want to bypass, spiritual bypass. And that's like to avoid the deep pain. Like you don't want to like feel other people's pain. And that comes a lot of times when you're like a psychic person, a spiritual person. Like you can feel other people's stuff. And so that's what gives you your gift, but it can also be your downfall of not knowing whose energy is whose, yours or someone else's. And so, so you would have to, but this is saying may manifest as pretending all is well, like using spiritual ideas like to like avoid being like, oh, I'm a good person, I'm doing the right thing because this person needs me. Like there is not like you're just doing it, it's like that there is some logic behind it, but that's spiritual bypassing. And then there's an energy of saying, well, why? Well, anxiety and fear tells me not comfortable in yourself. And that only happens when you, again, everybody's not comfortable in themselves. That's an unfoldment process. And if you weren't allowed to have your process in becoming yourself, and you were always trying to fit the mold to someone else, they'll understand you're not going to satisfy people every single day. Because their needs are different every day. So you would have to, again, mold to what everybody else wants you to do. And that is why you abandon yourself. And they think, well, this is the right thing because this person's sick, or this person needs me, or I do have a lot, or I do, making excuses, and then not knowing your worth is what spirit is saying. So this is the underlying energy at hand, and we don't know why, but we're going to find out why. And Spirit's saying it's like we can look at the inner truths first, like what is the person that you're connected to is thinking of you, and also like from a business sense, what does that mean? And so it can mean you not getting a job. It can mean, again, you messing an opportunity up. It could mean like if a karma comes back, there's a lot of different things. Again, I hope that you can forgive me one day. So this person's in a place of regret. They know that you don't want to talk to them anymore. I feel like you put a lot of energy towards creating yourself, and things are starting to happen. They're happening slowly, but they're still happening. And so I know I messed up everything. So of course, as you begin to build momentum within your business, or creating something, or creating space, at least this person is coming to the awareness of, wait a minute, we're not going to really go back. It was almost like maybe this person would leave and come back, and leave and come back, and leave and come back. And this time they didn't come back. And so they were like waiting it out, and possibly because you were standing your ground. So they thought that they were going to like humble you. And what they did was they kind of clown themselves into like losing you, is what I see. Their little plan backfired. You speak to me through music. You're going to come through in a lot of different ways when you're a soulmate, because understand they haven't learned the lesson. They still have feelings for you, and they feel bad about how they treated you. And so they're continuously thinking of you. So when a person is continuously thinking of you subconsciously, that's their ego telling them that they really know what to do already to fix this, It's time for me to heal now. So really part of their healing would be to actually come back and apologize. You know what I'm saying? But this person, like you said, you humbled them. They expected you to be humbled. They expected you to be put in their place. And what happened is, I know that I crossed a line with you. As again, I played too many games. Just being near you is intoxicating, though, because it's like, again, that when you have feelings for a person, even if it's just passion, there's still like that butterfly, there's still that excitement. And to a person that usually gets what they want and is at a low vibration, that is like a serotonin hit. So it's also like now that you're not giving to them, oh, how attractive you are, because now it's all about triggering their ego and the chase. And so sometimes they stay awake thinking about you. Like I said, they're becoming obsessive. And it's because, hey, like you cut your energy off. And you could say, like, why did they do what they do? Well, that's where their wounds lie. And we will look at it. But what you see is from their hidden truths, I still have feelings for you. I'm still attracted to you. I still, you know, you are this type of person. You're exhilarating because guess what? You don't just give in to me. Like a lot of people just give in. That's not, but that was the test. You see? You see this shit? That was the test that number one, you passed the first part of the test, I feel like. Because didn't I say you weren't allowed an identity? Shit's happening for you right now. Okay, I left you when I saw you with someone. So you might not have even like been with anybody, but you may have started to like widen your circle and started talking to other people. And this person likes to kind of divide and conquer, and that's through emotional manipulation. And what they see is that they really couldn't do that with you. And again, that's why they're falling for you, because it's like almost like abandonment. They do that to other relationships and then they get bored in the relationship. They don't really want that because relationships need to be fluent. They need to be not codependent. This person naturally is codependent because they go into this connection and they make it into that. But then they're not really with any person. They're with a shell of a person. And so what it is, I feel like you created this trauma response for them, like because again, they've got hit with abandonment. But they abandoned themselves, but I feel like they lost themselves because they put themselves into a competition. It became that's how their mind works. They were like, oh, it's not going to be this way. Oh, you want me to like come and apologize to you? No, I want to treat you like this. I want you to be subservient to me. And they got caught up in really believing that that was going to be the narrative. And then you showed them something else. So, they were judging you the way that they judge everyone. And possibly because they were talking to a lot of other people, and never really gave you the time, is what I feel like. And the fact that you didn't chase, you didn't claw, you didn't cry, you didn't beg. Well, now that you're attractive and those other people are not attractive, you don't know how hard it was to let you go. So again, they might have trapped themselves with one of those karmic people or actually have been in a karmic connection where really what you're seeing is that this person's not strong within themselves at all. It's like they're really led by their ego. And they're led by their ego because they're in a karmic connection with someone that they don't really want to be with, is what I'm feeling. Because why wouldn't they be able to, why would they have to let you go? They would have to let you go and self-sabotage the connection because there's someone else there. Not because they want to be, but the irony is the person that's actually there has fought tooth and nail and has poured into this person and done everything. So it's almost like that, we'll call them the karmic person, almost feels like, well, like I earned it. Like you're not going anywhere, but this person doesn't want to be with them because it's again, like once you get someone like that, then they're obsessive and then, you can't have a life because this karmic person expects that person to be their life. So they don't have a life. And so here it is, you're getting a life. So that's very triggering. And so, it's almost like this person held in their mind that you guys were going to be together again. And there's still part of them that feels like we will be together again. Even though I had to let you go, I'm not going to stay in this shit forever. And that's what would happen. Not saying that you have to take this person back, but there needs to be like a hope for this person to leave that type of karmic contract. Because that's what it is. When you're in a relationship with someone that you're like, oh, I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm daydreaming about someone else the whole time. Finding out the truth crushed me. And the truth is that you're not going to sacrifice your life for this person. You're not that person that they thought that you were. It's not going to be easy for them to come back into your life. You're not going to just let them back into your life. And again, how they treated you and really seeing who they're with. The comparison between you and that person is like day and night. And they're like, why am I with this person? It's lowering my vibration, which is also triggering this person's their ego, because they want to be with somebody that looks good, that's making things happen. It's like that person doesn't make them look good because that person is like a parasite that is in full control of them, which they don't like that energy. So they would actually either have to cheat to keep their energy high, again, and just justify why, or they have to leave. It's one or the other. And that's the thing that's really like crushing this person, because what they're saying is, you're not going to take me back. And I played all these games. I couldn't let you get close to me. Of course they couldn't. How could they let you get close? You would have seen everything. So it was a lot of cat and mouse game. It was a lot of, manipulation. They bury themselves and work to forget you. That's not going to work, because again, love is the ultimate energy. And it doesn't matter if you don't love them. At one time you did love them. And one time you did care about them. So it's almost like, I feel like this person holds that in their mind, but they're not doing anything about it. And then they make excuses like either you were too young for some of you, or, they didn't know you enough. But the bottom line is they know that you were the best thing and that it was their fault, but they blamed you because, again, that they didn't want to look at their life. They didn't want to change their life, is what you see here. You don't see a person that's happy with their choices. You see someone that's miserable with their choices. And so we can say, well, are they going to do anything? Not because you should take this person back. That's not why we do this. We do this because inquiring nosy bodies want to know why. But but if we're going to take this person back, we would have to know how to deal with them properly, because this person's not healed. And so we have to say, friends and family, I feel like there's going to be something that happens, like whether where you're at a party, if you're celebrating. So you may be getting an opportunity work-wise, is what I feel like. And there's going to be like you're going to have a party, or it's a get together with a bunch of friends. And one of these friends is still friends with that person. And they might run into them that day, and they're going to say where you are. And they're going to be at this party or this celebration, like almost expecting to run into you, is what I feel like. And you're going to be in this high energy where it's going to be very healing, believe it or not. And it's healing because you're going to it's a time of growth for you because of this opportunity. But it's also this person shows up again, when you're at such a high vibration that I feel like you don't really even care what they did. It's almost like it's irrelevant. And so I feel like you're going to see that there is still a connection between you and this person. Don't kill the messenger. But that doesn't mean to just let them back into your life. Again, it means that you're not as mad, but I feel like it's because And then what happens is that you do reclaim your power, but it's almost like this person's going to express their truth. They're finally going to tell you how they feel about you. And then you're going to lay down the rules of the game. And then not the game is like the relationship, right? Like how you want to be treated, what you're expecting, what you don't expect, how they treated you, like in the past. Like you have to lay it all on the table right then and there. Is again where this person is again going to, be a little like challenge it, like, and try and make things like it was also part of your fault a little bit. Don't accept it. Don't accept it, and understand that it can go either way. Meaning, like, I'm not going to lie, this could turn into a karmic contract, but it could also be one that's a positive relationship, like a strong relationship. It depends on how you play it, and it depends on how you are going to, you know, um, navigate the relationship, which is again, you're going to have boundaries. You're going to step into the best version of yourself, which is no, I don't really have time for you. I'm busy. And you're not doing that all the time, and you're not doing it to be an asshole. You're doing it because you're really going to be busy, because an opportunity is happening for you, is spirit saying. So you are going to be required to be walking differently, and that means doing different things, meeting different people, like other things are going to be going on, and this person doesn't just get to come into your life. The boundaries are that. It's like, you want to be in my life, it needs to be my way. X, Y, Z. And that needs to happen because you need to be able to be like I can have it my way. Also understand that if you couldn't have it your way, you're not going to be affected, because emotionally you're going to be taken care of. Because again, this person, like I said, they're gonna feel like it's challenging. Okay, it's not like it's not going to be challenging, but this person is gonna like, they're gonna step into it. It's not like they're not. They're ready. It's like all or nothing. It says destination or bust, meaning, it's like they are going into uncharted territory. It's like they've never come back to a person before. They've never apologized. They've never done things by somebody else's rules. But they've always been codependent, and their relationships always look like shit. So, that's why you're in charge, and spirit saying, well, would need to see that you're in charge, because you're always on the shit end of the stick, and that's because you never lay the boundaries. You always give too much. So spirit saying we're doing things differently, again, to show you that you can get a different outcome. It's again, there's many different realities that play it at one time, and this person is a soulmate. And it's again, there is this unconditional love. It's not like there isn't. So again, this person's going to have to date you and show displays of affection and be a lot different than they have been. What I see. That's what I see. And again, they're going to do it. Because there's a part of this person that knows if they don't, that you're going to meet somebody else. So there's a part of this person that is also, they're healing strongholds, of not being able to be vulnerable. See that? It's like this person is like learning to stand up for what they want, but it's not easy for this person at all. It's like they're going against the stronghold, and the stronghold is usually ancestral, of being told what they can have and what they can't have, and being fearful, and that's by relinquishing control, because that's what you see when a person has that second chakra in balance. It's all about them not having an identity and would need to control and to dominate, which is why their relationships always look like shit. Again, because who's going to be with that? Absolutely nobody. Nobody that's like a surface people. Those surface people are, they're karmic. And so again, this person's changing. And so that's the thing. Anything can happen, at this time. And that's really what Spirit's saying. They're healing. And that part of them is healing the inner child. And the inner child taught them not to be emotional. So they're not emotional. They don't know how to be emotional. They're controlling. And, because of that fear. Because if you're not emotional in a relationship, then the person feels like they're not loved, or they feel like they're not cared for, or they feel like, and so this person may have no problem in showing displays of affection when it comes to like buying you something or fixing you something, but actually telling you, oh no, that's never happening, or showing again the displays of affection that you need. So Spirit's saying for this relationship, it's going to require them to do that, and that's uncharted territory, and they know that you can get it. So they're in a position that's like, well, this is really uncomfortable, and God says, yeah, 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 this is a time, for you to look beneath the surface and, start to learn again. Otherwise, that sexual fulfillment that you're looking for is going to be out the fucking window unless you commit and give some intimacy. There will be no sexual pleasure, because that's what it's going to take to be in this person's life. And that makes you feel very uncomfortable. And so you might be someone that's a demisexual, which is, I need to have that emotional connection. Otherwise, I can't be with that person. So it's easy for you to be like, nope. And that's again, now this person's like, what the fuck? The wheel is turning. Again, wait a minute. Like the shoe's on the other foot, because it's like, you don't care. Well, then you're like, well, you didn't give me anything. Why am I going to care? Didn't give me enough to care, And so this person is coming to this realization, you know, that there's unconditional love. That just kind of popped out at it. But it wasn't seen right away. You know what I mean? It's something that, like started to unfold, started to merge out of nowhere, they feel like. And that's because of the fact that they were childish, and the fact that you walked away. Well, again, they might have had a heated argument. You might have said something to this person. There's the intense connection, and now that it's gone, well, it's like it's not fun. You look for that in other people. It's not, you can't be replaced. This person, trust me, has tried to replace it. It's again, they were even in a place of victim mindset for a while. Now they're hyper focused on you. So they went from one extreme to another. And so it's because again, you still feel like home. There's still this energy of love and that home, and it's comfort, and it's like it's just a soulmate connection, like what it can't be explained. And so Spirit says, well, it would have to be, because this person usually would just replace you with someone else. And so understand it's making them go within. That's something that they did not plan on, something that God said, oh, they needed to go within. So I had to, again, orchestrate this, because, again, they were messed with all their baggage, with all their issues of wanting to control. It's like, so now they can sit there with all their suitcases and unbag it. And so they don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable. They also, that's another reason. So Spirit says they're coming. Expect it for another 3 to 6 months, or maybe 3 to 6 weeks. Spirit's saying it's like they're going to be in your life before the summer, maybe even the beginning of the summer or the end of spring, around there is what Spirit's saying. It's like, because they're coming back, and, they want to fix it. They want to fix it. See, because, hey, their life has been shit ever since. And that's because they play games. They thought that, they wanted to be free. They got to be free. They got to hang out with whoever they wanted to hang out with. And now they're, exhausted. And it's like they're exhausted. They're not happy. They don't have anything. And there's like, again, stuck in the family patterns. And those family patterns are all like, again, ancestral, of vows and karmic contracts, of again, where that all that needs to be healed. All that is why this person like has not really been in good relationship. And so, it's creating like conflicts, really. It's creating conflicts from how what they feel and what they were taught. And that's creating like almost like a storm inside of them, because when you have feelings for someone and you're holding back, but then you're getting triggered because hey, they're not acting the way that they thought that you were going to act, and now is how you see them, and how you see them is how they see themselves, and they don't really like that. So again, it brings this person to having to do the healing that they don't really want to do, and that's really what it is. Because if they're going to be with you, they would have to be a certain way. And that's the thing. It's time. It's like this person knows, and so they're heating the coal. But they think that might be just like easy, like it's going to be like temporary. And what they're going to see is they're going to go right down the rabbit hole. It's like this person needs a lot of healing. It's not like they don't. They grew up in a family that they inherited these karmic patterns, so that's all that they know. And so they formed habits and behaviorisms that made them be kind of like cold, kind of distant, kind of like more business-like, more savvy, more sarcastic, more like competitive. These energies are business energies. They're logical. They're with a strong analytical mind. That's who they are. It's like where that's not who you are. And so that's the issue. And spirit says, well, they know that they have to do it, because again, there's a part of you that's just you already grieved the process. I feel like you already feel like it's done. You already feel like this relationship is dead. And spirit says, oh well, that you would have to completely cut your energy off for this person to actually like feel the difference, because they're cocky. Remember that left brain, logical, analytical mind that thinks that they can outsmart anybody. But I'm just going to wait it out. And you didn't do what most people do. And so now this person is put into a situation that they know that either they have to do those things or you're not coming back, because how you see it, the relationship's dead. And so spirit says, well, that's what it took for their ego. But hey, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. They're going to need to work really hard to get back into your life. But who did that? Spirit says because of their pride. It's again this ancestral bullshit, but meanwhile, this is timeless connection. You see, it's timeless connection. And so, but due to their pride, and that's what it is. So now they have like, it's making them sick. They're annoyed. They're pissed off because now you're like closed off from them. You're like, no, I don't really care anymore. You're aloof. And so Spirit's saying, well, again, that's not a mistake. Whether you take them back or not, I don't care, but they have to work because this person has a closed heart. And the only way that they're going to work is if they thought that they lost you. And then it's that they're competitive. They're going to want to like try and like finagle it, lie and give you romance and love and affection and devotion. And God says, you got to make them do that for a long time, because it's not like they don't know how to do it. They're not consistent. So once, you'll get them that like, so you have to be like staying your ground, like, no, like make them do it for a long time. And when I say a long time, Spirit's saying like a year, like don't just roll out that red carpet, like old habits die hard. That this person is a logical, analytical mind. They're strategic. I just do this. They're like a bad kid that's like, oh, I just do this for a little while. And then I'm sure that, everything will go back to normal. The way you need to show this person, no, it will not. This is the new me, and you're that old version of me is dead. You don't get that version because, hey, you made me become this version. So this is what it is from now on. Spirit says they'll do it. They have to, they have to humble themselves, is what Spirit's saying. Their ego is still like out of control. And, you don't want to hold this relationship together. So Spirit says it's all about boundaries. It's all about putting up restrictions. You know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a shapeshifter. That's what you're dealing with. So it's again where it's like you're like, I thought that they were that person. Spirit says, yeah, because again, they're someone that's wounded, acts from their emotions. So the truth is like I do have feelings for you, but I have these wounds too. And then what happens is you're gonna trigger me and then I'm gonna react. And then so if they're not busy chasing you, they're too busy sabotaging the connection because they don't really feel that they're deserving of it, Spirit says. But it's going to trigger your shit. That's the whole point. Spirit says love is healing. It's like that's what it is. And so and this person again, like tends to like to control and, wants you to submit to them. But again, what they're seeing is that you're not going to stick around to feel powerless, but they're making them feel powerless. So they have to go through their healing. And part of that is, hey, I'm trying to strategize my way back into your life. But the whole cold, hard truth is you're going to say it's either you're going to do things my way or it's over because it's not working your way. I'm not going to be in your life your way. So it keeps repeating the same thing. Like, yeah, they're going to come back. Yes, yes, yes. But it's not whether they care. You already know that they care. That's what it looks like. You're like, why does it look that way? And Spirit says, that's another question. That's again to look at their wounds. What did they go through? We already know that they inherited ancestral karma. Well, that came out again, stress and burnout just showed up, and stress and burnout tend to happen if you grew up in an environment where it was survival. So your adrenals are like in constant fight, flight, freeze. So they never felt comfortable in the family that they were brought up in. They were taught betrayal. So burnout is that root chakra imbalance. So it shows up as fatigue, numbness, feeling drained and overwhelmed by daily tasks, may manifest as headaches, insomnia, trouble focusing, on that. So it's again, relationships tend to do that to them. And it's because it pushes them into a fight, flight, freeze, which is why they need to control. And then you see root chakra imbalance. That's what I just said. That root chakra is where the adrenals are, and the person's not in their head. The moment they get into a relationship, then it's like I need to strategize. I'm up in my head, and it's all about getting triggered, reacting from that trigger, and so they know that there's something wrong. They don't exactly know what is causing it, and they just know that that they get triggered and they wind up in bad relationships. So it's just best that they control, but they don't realize that they're the main thing that's creating that is what's happening. And it's just a way that they react. They're reacting to it, and it's from previous abuse that they were brought up with. So that's what happens with trauma. You're no longer in your body. So it's the close connection for this person. It's that intimacy, is the showing that vulnerability, which is difficult. It's easy for them to be in surface relationships. They're not never letting a person in. They're not, exposing anything. So if, they get rejected, who cares? But if they let you in and you reject them, which this person has already lived with, or had happen in their family. So there's a sense of, I don't really trust relationships at all. And so that's what you're dealing with. And in that you're going to see like, there was a lot of gossip and slander and like of this person too, because, I feel like their sensitivity, once they let people in, which eventually they do let people in, And every single time, then people betray them. And the reason why is because in order for them to get into your person's wall, they had to become self-sacrificing and do all this, that they had to abandon themselves, that they were not the same person. They wound up resenting, creating intimacy problems because too many times this person did not show up. And then by the time that they finally give, it's like, well, you're not giving enough. So this person has a balance issue, and that comes from, again, if the person's up in their head all the time, worried, they're not in their passion for life, they're not in their true self, they're more in, again, that shadow aspect of self. So business is where this person's mind is normally. They feel more comfortable with that. This relationship triggers them because it's real. It brings them back to all the past negative relationships where you better believe there was a lot of slander and there was a lot of gossip about them. So there's a sense of guilt, there's a sense of shame. They're not showing that. What they're going to show you is that they're self-righteous. What they're going to show you is that they're in full control, but they're not. That's called overcompensation, which is, again, a second chakra imbalance. And the overcompensation is, I'm going to give you very little to make you perceive that this is how I feel and this is who you are. So they're very good at, like, again, this gaslighting manipulation, because that's the way that they learned how to survive, where that's not the way that you learned how to survive. That's why this person feels guilty. And that's why part of them is like, oh, you were so, like, naive. But you weren't naive, you were real. And that's what they're seeing. It's like, all those other people were not real. You know, surface Mary over there, you know, will become anyone who you want them to become. And then once they feel comfortable, then they become who they truly are, which is really a lost identity. Somebody that hasn't created themselves, just an empty person, and eventually wants this person to fill them the same way that this person in the beginning of a relationship is using people to fill them emotionally. You see, just the other person may want them to fill them financially, because God knows that they don't know how to give anything emotionally. So Spirit's saying, and the problem is that they never felt anything like this fucking relationship before. It's like, it's, again, they don't understand it. They can't logic it. They can't talk themselves out of it. They are ruminating on it. It's like, how fucking dare you, but I love you. And like, it's, again, it doesn't make any sense. And it's overwhelming to this person, because it's like, what does it all mean? Why? And it's because it's shaking up, again, the way that they learned how to survive. And because God says, well, they were kind of using people. You know, it's not like they were able to just get in there. It's that they lie. They pretend that there's someone else. There's karmic consequences for that. So again, our love will manifest through the union of heart and mind. So again, you still have that ESP connection through the heart and mind. However, this person is, again, seeing that you're creating yourself, right? So your mind can't be in two places at one time. And so that's also, I'm sure, freaking this person out, where it's like, I'm not feeling you as much, right? The energy has changed between us, and that's because it's not as strong, because, hey, if you don't give anything, that's what it is. You think I don't listen to you, but I do. I hear everything that you say, and even replay our conversations in my head, which, you know, that's true. It's like God knows that they don't say anything. So they don't say, when you're talking to them, there's no communication back and forth. So they act like they don't care. So but it's, again, they care. But again, I can't show you I care, because I might melt. Might just drop dead right there on the floor. That's, again, that I can't show you that. So might have had a parent that was like that was like, loved you, but just didn't know how to show. And Spirit says, like, again, what this is realizing for this person is that they need to be strong in who they are before they can merge their energy with yours in the 3D. They know that they would lose themselves in this relationship, and then you would kill them. Meaning, like, if you didn't like them, or you wouldn't, like, it would kill them. It would devastate them, because they feel it, that the relationship is deep. It could be everything. They feel it. But that's, again, they were conditioned to believe that that's not possible. that it has nothing to do with you. We project our patterns onto each other, and this makes it really difficult for them to see what's real and what is fear-based thinking. And understand you may do that to them too, because you're like, well, you're not giving me anything. So the more that you're like, you don't show up for me, you don't do this, all this person hears is, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, you're not going to stay with me, you want me to change, you want, because this person doesn't emotionally know how to actually connect with you because of their shit. And then, and you're like, you don't give it to me, that makes me feel not loved, that makes me feel, and they're like, I do love you, that's like, I mean, I'll wash your car, what are you talking about? I took the garbage out. I walked the fucking dog at 3 o'clock in the morning. I ran the bath for you. I fixed your plumbing. It's like, so it's like a lot of projection back and forth, where Spirit's saying that's what twin flame will do, because it's there to dig out the wounds. Otherwise, you wouldn't be aware that they were. And so understand that's why the ancestral patterns, again, created from an environment that you both grew up in. And Spirit says you wouldn't be able to heal any other way. Remember, the universe's job is to bring you what's going to help revert you back to your original energy of unconditional love. They're trying to figure out this connection, and they're going to figure it out all fucking day. You know why? Because it's a spiritual connection. So you cannot logic it. And this person, again, is going to sit there. I've never experienced anything like it before. And Spirit's saying it would need to be that way, because they would talk themselves right out of it. They would logic themselves out of it, because they've been able to do that too, to make a person look stupid and do whatever, and then be like, see, this is why, when really they're the person who plays games. I daydream about you. Sometimes it's sexual, other times I visualize our future together. And so this person can't help it. Like you said, they're ruminating. It's a soulmate relationship. It's like God says it would need to be, because this person is like, they're like slow again. And it's all because they need to heal those ancestral karmic patterns. It's in their bloodline. It's in your bloodline. That's why the relationship is very triggering. A soulmate twin flame relationship is all about that, transmuting those wounds. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's actually the hardest relationship that there is, because you're getting the person broken. You're the person that's holding the standard that's making them change. People don't just change. And so you're also changing, because when you're dealing with that type of energy, it forces you to change. So if you're too emotional and a person has a lot of like control over you emotionally, well, the Spirit says that's off. If you didn't emotionally get, and that attachment, and you're expecting it, well, that's off. It's like where you're like, I shouldn't expect it. Spirit says that you shouldn't be pulling from an empty cup. Your cup should be full, so it's not so intensified, because again, it's still out of balance. And that is what makes this person flip out, because they already feel like they can't be good enough. They're not good enough. They know that they're not good enough. So the expectation is what does it. But when we are learning about unconditional love, there is no expectation. There is no ownership, and the relationship doesn't fucking make sense. If anything, it's like, why would you choose this? You wouldn't choose it. You'd say, I don't want the aggravation. I don't want the aggravation. And Spirit says, but you don't focus on that this is what makes people change. This is what's going to make this person change. They're not just going to change. The Spirit says it's not like I come down and I change them, or they have this epiphany one day. They have many epiphanies. But the epiphany is I act like an ass. And then maybe a few months later, oh, maybe this is how I should handle it. Instead of, because they're frozen. They're stuck in frozen. They're stuck in stupid. They're stuck in the burnout, stressed out, adrenals. When I'm in survival mode, I'm not logic. I'm stupid. I'm in my own way. Hey, because the brain's not made to be in survival and, logic. It's not. This person has blockages in their relationship. I feel sexual energy between us yet it's beyond physical attraction. It needs to be elevated to the expression of deep unconditional love, which is what it is, and this person knows that. They need to be the ones that express it. But there's almost like, well, you need to say it first. If you don't say it, where a spirit saying, maybe you both need to do it, but understand these feelings overwhelm them and they become afraid and they run because of it. Because it's like, again, the relationship is deep. It's real. It's like it makes them look at their shit. It makes them want to do different things that they're not really comfortable doing. So again, their mind knows, but then their heart knows, I should say, their spirit knows, their gut knows, but their brain is like, no, like gets in the way. Again, love like ours can change the world. Expand your concept of what a twin flame is. It's more than a romance. It's deep soul activation to heal in order to embody love and light, God. Bring them back to your original energy of unconditional love. Understand this person, again, is still thinking of passion, love, all that. This is where they are. But they need to, again, like have the trust in themselves. This person might have gotten bad advice from somebody in their environment because they're listening to other people on how to handle this. So this is another mistake. When a person has spiritual blockages, they're asking other people's opinions instead of saying to you, this is how I feel, but I may not feel this way like forever. Like it's like I'm afraid. It's again where they're not being transparent. They don't like, so there's this fear, and they're going to ask other people, and other people are going to want to utilize their energy for what they want. They don't know who they're asking. If they're asking friends, their friends are going to tell them through their perception, but birds of a feather tend to flock together. Remember that. So if, their friends have a crap life with crappy relationships, they really shouldn't be listening to other people. This is when it comes to relationships, you need to be true to you and how you feel. And so you just see that they're fully blocked from, relationships, and this is what it looks like. And that's why Spirit says, yeah, that's why they would have to come back and be emotional. They don't know how to do that. They're afraid to do that. And so it's, again, that's why they run from it, because it's really, they cut themselves off from the higher self, because really you got to incorporate the emotions. This person's fully in their ego, so that they're dynamite when it comes to business. They're real strategic, and they're real smart. This energy, no. So you have to say, we know that they're coming back and we understand everything, but what is it for you that you need to learn? What is the whole point? And Spirit says, well, with the twin flame, it's never one-sided. Understand, the perfect person tends to be your perfect half, right? Now that's my other half. It's not that they're really a half a person or you're a half a person. It's that you're blocked where they have gifts, and they have gifts where you're blocked. And so we come together like through the unconditional love, healing, through teaching, through becoming a friend, again, healing the intimacy through friendship, and through, again, being different, is Spirit saying. It's like so we have to say, look at this, we see source, and to me, source is the energy of Spirit. So we see gifts, and we see gifts because you grew up in an environment where the parent was rageful, and that could also be your energy, because a lot of times if our parent dealt with us through everything was anger, that's actually a habitual thing that we then also deal with everything. We get angry at everything, where Spirit says it's just a manifestation of shame. It's again, and shame happens for all different reasons, but we're not our experiences. We are, the energy of unconditional love. So the safety and security due to either the parent not being there or a parent being angry all the time, and you being like, well, they were there, but I couldn't talk to them. They weren't any type of support for me. They weren't really anything. They were kind of seemed like they were mad to actually have to be a parent, to be honest with you. And that's a parent that tends to like have shame, and that's be made to feel not good enough. And why I say the parent, it's like, well, you were born into ancestral karma. So the parent is going to treat you how they feel about themselves. They're going to project a lot of their pain onto you. And that's why source was always near. Because where does a child go when they again can't trust their parent, or they don't feel comfortable around their parent, and they are dependent on that parent? They go inward. They go inside. The child that survives thrives because again they're in their imagination. They're in the astral level. Where is God? Well, again, God's inside, Spirit says. So you have gifts, and those gifts are based on the fact that there was trauma, and the way that you dealt with it was you detached, you disassociated from it. However, there was fragmentation there. And the fragmentation was being with somebody that's angry. Hey, let's look over here. This person, again, they're angry. They're a business person. They, again, deal with everything like cold and that energy. It's the same. It's like detached, disassociated, act like they don't care. It's the same exact energy. So Spirit's saying, and yes, it was karmic, because all twin flames in the beginning are karmic. It's like they have an opportunity in a lifetime to step it up, but a lot of times they don't. The Spirit says, so being with this person was a karmic test. The fact that you were not, okay, you passed the first part of the test, but if you decide to be with this person, it's still a test depending on how you handle it. So is Spirit saying, and so it's all about you making sure that emotionally you're getting what you need from this person. And that's through giving it to yourself and being like, I don't need it. The moment that you begin to ask for it, you're going to begin to look for it. And then Spirit's going to say, it'll never be enough. You won't be happy. And it's not necessarily because of this person, because they're going to show you how to love you the way that they know how. And it's an unconditional love. And it's going to be a strong, deep love. And yes, over time, they are going to show you. But that's without the fear. They have to heal that. And that takes time. Trust is something that happens over time. This is why we don't create the strong intimacy, meaning I'm not sleeping with you. It's like, but I will like let you, work your way kind of back into my life. Otherwise, you're going to feel unworthy. You're going to feel like, again, like that's what you need, where, you don't want to be in a relationship where you're oppressed and neither does the other person. And oppressed by saying, this is what you need to do for me. This is how. The relationship needs to be fluid. That's the type of unconditional love is. There's no expectations. There are no ownership. You both were not taught the right way. You both were born into ancestral karma that you were taught wrong. And God says, so I have to teach you right. You think you're going to volunteer? No, you're not going to volunteer because it's going to make you feel like shit. It's going to piss you off. So it's, again, unless you change your thinking or unless you change the way that you deal with it. God says you wouldn't do that. It's going to have to kind of trick you. It's going to trick you by bringing this person that's good looking and has all the capability, and they do love you. This is what it looks like. God says only my love is perfect. No one else's love is perfect. Stop having expectations. Stop trying to make it look like what it is, because understand eventually that person will do exactly what you want. But it only happens when you step into the best version of yourself. Because with the twin flame, you're their muse. You're showing them, this is what it fucking looks like. And it's like, and they're so busy running after, they're not worried about all that other stuff. And they see, well, why are they running after you? Because your life. It's like, I'm happy without you. I'm happy in my life. I'm creating in my life. There's a lot more to life than just you. It's, again, this person's codependent. They tend to be with codependent people, and then they don't like what they create. And they don't create because it keeps them in a low vibration. So it's, again, would they be aware of it? They would never be aware of it unless this connection. And that's why spirit brings the connection into life. Otherwise, that would make no sense. So you have to say, what am I supposed to do with the negative energy? Because again, these connections really can build up negative energy because emotionally you're continuously getting triggered a lot of times. This twin flame doesn't think the way that you do. Their gifts are not the same as yours. Again, it's opposite. But spirit says it's like, think of it this way. I need everyone on the fifth floor. There's 10 floors in the building. You're in the penthouse. They're in the basement. Neither person's on that fifth floor. Balance is the fifth floor. And so it's again, and that's you were taught your survival mechanisms due to again the environment is how what needs to be reconditioned because you both were taught that. So spirit saying you have deep wisdom. It's again and wisdom. You're always able to again you're always able to shape shift your life, change your life, and into seeing infinite possibilities. And really, spirit saying, well, this is about fulfilling your promise to yourself. It's about giving yourself the love and nurturing and becoming yourself fully before this person fully comes back into your life. It's again having a love affair with yourself, giving yourself that because you may be like, I don't know whether I want to take this person back. And spirit says you'll know if you give yourself what you should be giving yourself because that means that you're going out and you're meeting new people, you're dating, you're still have a full life. This person has to work their way back into your life. Their heart is not open fully. The spirit saying. So remember, you're holding to a standard, and that's what's going to help you break the chains. Again, release the limiting beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're not deserving, that you can't have it, because none of that shit is true, even though you might have grown up in that narrative. That's not true. Understand, you have to see a different narrative, but you're the one that's changing, and it's not through changing the environment. It's about learning how to go with the flow. Going with the flow of life through the passion for life, then it doesn't matter what I give to you or what you give to me because I'm not relying on it. I don't have any expectation. I don't have any. So I can be vulnerable, and I can be vulnerable by being authentic and true to myself, by making sure that I give myself everything that I need to fulfill. And that allows me to see brighter horizons. I can envision a future that I want to have. And I can actually see it because I see my own genius. And it was all because I needed to learn how to love myself because I didn't know how. And so spirit says, and either does this person because they weren't taught. The only difference is that you're doing it and you're showing this person how to do it. And that's the difference. It's like, and they would come back and they would try, but you're holding to the standard. Otherwise, you're not going to see a different narrative. Point blank, period. And so we end off with one more message. Here it is. Sometimes two. Maybe I'll pick two. I feel like it's a day of two or three, actually. Three. I felt three, and then I was like, three is too much. But again, I was like two. I was like one. All right, three. All right. Let's see. So Spirit's saying trust. Trust that life and your strength each moment guides you to the light. Everything on your path is placed there for your growth and your evolution, including this person. And now is again, get your life balanced. Find balance between each sphere of your life. You're the master of your daily life. That means time for working out, time for health, time for your friends, time for, it's again that there's a lot of hours in the day. This way you're not thinking about this person and you're, again, fulfilling the needs of your own body and soul. This way when a person comes back also into your life, you're not just letting them in because you're busy. That's how boundaries are. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm busy. Don't tell them what they didn't earn that either. It's again, I'm busy. I have plans. Like it's not always around. I have other entertainment. Like I have other things going on. They have to. And you're going to feel bad about that. But if your mind is again putting it on to you'll get over it. Because you're like, oh, I feel bad. But then once you go to your destination, you're like, oh, I'm having a good time. I don't really care. That person needs to see this version of you. Remember, codependency means, again, somebody likes to be a little bit dominant and controlling, and you don't want that. So Spirit's saying balance. And it's a time for you to just see your inner beauty, open your eyes and your heart, direct your gaze to the light within every being. Personality and physical appearance are in the image of man. Beauty and goodness are in the image of God. And the twin flame really, again, teaches you that, because you see that this person's broken. You see everything, but you still have unconditional love for them, and vice versa. And that's what Spirit says. I made everyone everybody has that capacity, but people will make, the change in other people. That's how it's done. And so Spirit's saying you just need to, again, like, continue to see it like that. And you can, if you're, again, taking care of yourself spiritually, which you need to do. So we always get our twin flame to make us hold to a certain standard, and it doesn't feel good because you're like, I really don't want to be that way. It's like, but Spirit says, you already know who this person is. You have to override your emotions because you're too emotional, and this person needs to get into their emotions. So I'm giving you the dynamic to make you change, because you'll be like, I want to make it work. But Spirit says, you're not going to make it work by putting a square peg in the circle hole. You have to, again, be able to go with the flow of whatever it is, and that you don't have control over the environment. You only have control over you. This is about mastery over you, mastery over your emotions, mastery over your energy. Again, make sure that you're balanced within your life. Time for everything. I don't have time. I'm busy. Boundaries. But I can be around for you on this time. You're teaching this person. It's going to feel uncomfortable for them. But then eventually they're going to be like, well, I'm lucky I even get that. I must be someone important because I get a whole slice of pie. I get a whole slice of pizza. She only has 8 slices of pizza there, and she gave me a whole slice of pizza. I must be somewhat important. And then you're like, well, that's as much as I'm going to give, and that's a lot. And that's a lot. Spirit says that usually you should only give like maybe a half a slice of pizza, not even a full slice of pizza, because you want a person to want more if you really like them, right? And so you're going to give the person less, where you're like, no, I like to treat people the way I like to be treated. And God's like, you gave them the whole buffet. You didn't even give the pizza. Forget it. You're not playing right. It's, again, I give you free will, but you're not going to make me look stupid. I'm inside of you. You're the one driving the bus. So again, healing doesn't feel good. You already know who this person is. You can't use your heart. You have to use your brain. And this person actually has to learn how to use their heart. I'm going to leave that there. Let me know how you resonate. And until next time, be true to you. Bye-bye.